In this video we're going to review the Space Marine Primaris Chaplain. Hello and welcome to Planet 40k, I'm Eugenio and today we're talking about the Primaris Chaplain. We'll have a look at his stat line, special abilities, movement, shooting and combat, discuss his strengths and weaknesses and give him a rating out of 5. So let's get started. The Primaris Chaplain is a HQ choice and he's 85 points or 4 power level. I've also seen online that he'll be available on a bike for 130 points when the 9th edition Codex comes out. However, we'll have to wait and see on that one. On foot, he's movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9 and a 3-up save. For abilities, he's got the Angels of Death ability, which if you're new to Space Marines is actually an umbrella for 3 abilities. The first being And They Shall Know No Fear, which allow you to reroll your morale test. Second one's Shock Assault, which gives him +1 attack in any phase in which he makes a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention. And lastly, Bolter Discipline, which isn't really relevant to the Chaplain on foot. However, when he's on a bike, it will give you double shots with your rapid-fire bolt weapons. The first of his unique abilities is an aura called Spiritual Leaders, which allow friendly chapter units to use his leadership instead of their own if they're within 6 inches of him. This will really help with the 9th edition combat attrition test, so you want to be trying to avoid that, so this will help. His second ability is Rosarius, which gives him a 4+ invuln save. So as well as those abilities, he's also got what are called Litanies, which are a bit like psychic powers. However, instead of taking a normal psychic test, you activate them by rolling a 3+ in your command phase, and they last until your next command phase. So he automatically knows the Litany of Hate, which is on his datasheet. It allows you to re-roll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly chapter units within 6 inches of the Chaplain. So this one's really good for close combat units, so it would have good synergy with a unit like, say, Assault Intercessors. As well as the Litany of Hate, he can choose another litany from the Litanies of Battle in the Space Marine Codex. The Litanies of Battle has 6 to choose from. I'll go through them, but bear in mind we're still a few months away from the 9th edition Codex, so if you're watching this after the Codex release, they may have changed. I'll put any changes in the description once the Codex drops, and we'll probably also be doing a more in-depth tactics video when that comes out too. So the first one we've got is Litany of Faith. So when friendly chapter units within 6 inches suffer a mortal wound, roll a d6. On a 5+, that wound is ignored, but this doesn't stack with other abilities. So this one is okay, it's not my favourite. It might be useful against psycho-heavy armies such as Thousand Suns. The next one we've got is Catechism of Fire. It's pick a friendly chapter unit within 6 inches and that unit gets +1 to its wound rolls when it shoots the closest visible enemy unit. So this one, anything with +1 to wound is great, but it is slightly hampered by having to target the closest enemy unit. So the next one is Exaltation of Rage. This one is pick a friendly chapter unit within 6 inches. When that unit fights, unmodified hit rolls of 6 give another attack with the same weapon. The new attacks don't cause further attacks. So I love these extra attack rules, especially with a unit that already has a lot of attacks, like the Assault Intercessors perhaps. So yeah, this will be really powerful with them. The next one's Mantra of Strength. So this one adds 1 to the Chaplain's strength and attacks characteristics and 1 to the damage characteristics of its melee weapons. So this one's really nice, especially if you're thinking maybe of taking him as a warlord. It'll give him 5 attacks at strength 7, AP -1 and 3 damage, so it's a pretty good buff for him. Yeah, it's not too bad. Next one's Recitation of Focus. It's pick a friendly chapter unit within 6 inches, add 1 to the hit rolls of that unit's attacks made for range weapons. So this is one of my favourite ones and works with a lot of other units. I'm thinking of Space Wolves. You'll be hitting on 2s in shooting as well as combat with this guy around, so it's a really nice one, this. And then we've got the Canticle of Hate. So this one's add 2 to charge rolls for friendly chapter units within 6 inches of this model, and friendly chapter units within 6 can move 6 inches when they pile in or consolidate. but it doesn't stack with other abilities of this kind. So another great buff, 2 inches to the charge roll is pretty big, and the extra consolidation and piling will really help wrap around the unit in combat. So yeah, I really like that one as well. So a great addition there. Do remember that in 9th edition, all of these litanies are now activated in your command phase and not at the start of the battle round. So yeah, just something to bear in mind. There are also chapter-specific litanies, relics and warlord traits in the Cycling Awakening book Faith and Fury, but we'll go through them in the tactics video when the Codex comes out, because it's quite a lot to work through. One thing worth mentioning though from the Faith and Fury book is that you can upgrade one chaplain in your army to a Master of Sanctity for 1 command point, and this allows them to take an extra litany from the Litanies of Battle table and recite 2 litanies instead of the 1 in your command phase. So with so many command points in 9th edition, I think I'd definitely take this every time. The Primaris Chaplain has a movement of 6 inches, which doesn't really allow you to zip around the board buffing different units. However, it will probably work best if you're able to keep units close to him, probably in a gunline style list. If you're able to take him on a bike when the Codex comes out, that will make him a lot more versatile. I'm interested to see also if he gains the devastating charge rule that the Outriders have, which gives them +2 attacks on the charge. We've got a review for the Outriders too, so I'll link that in the description if you haven't seen it already. I really like the idea of the chaplain on a bike with loads of Outriders for sport, so looking forward to seeing what the rules are for the bike version when the Codex comes out. You've also got the option of strategic reserves to bring him in. However, with the way the litanies work, you won't be able to use them on the turn you come in, as they happen in the command phase now, which is before the movement phase. So I'd most likely not use the chaplain in this way. The other options for transport are the impulsor or the repulsor, which I'd use if I want to get him up the table to support units coming in from reserves, probably with some assault intercessors to make the most of his litany of hate ability. I think my preferred option would be to take him on a bike. It's a big increase in points, but he'll probably get an extra wound, an extra toughness and attack, along with some extra bolt of fire too, and hopefully the devastating charge rule if we're lucky. On a bike it'll be much easier to get around the board and buff different units with all his litanies, which really is what you're taking him for. So for shooting, the Primaris Chaplain has the Absolver bolt pistol, which is pretty decent. It's range 18, strength 5, AP -1 and 2 damage. It's got good range. The AP -1 is okay, and I really like the fact that it's got the 2 damage. He hits on 3s and will wound toughness 10 units on 6s, toughness 6 to 9 units on 5s, toughness 5 units on 4s, and toughness 4 and below on 3s. If his options on the bike are the same as the Outriders, you'll get a twin bolt rifle if you take him on the bike, which is range 30, strength 4, AP -1 and 1 damage, rapid fire 2, which will give you 4 shots because he's on a bike and has the bolt of discipline ability. Again, I feel this is another good reason to take him on a bike. However, if you're looking to save the points, then you can just keep him on foot. He's also got frag and crack grenades, which you might consider in certain circumstances. In combat, the Primaris Chaplain has the Crozius Arcanum, which is strength +2, which is 6, AP -1 and 2 damage. With shock assault, he gets 5 attacks hitting on 2s, so you'll approximately get 4 hits and probably all 5 with the Litany of Hate going off. You'll wound a toughness 7 to 8 model on 5s, toughness 6 models on 4s, toughness 5 to 4 models on 3s, and toughness 3 models on 2s. As he's only AP -1, if you're going up against anything with a decent save, you're not going to do that much damage in combat, so you really don't want him going up against anything that's good in combat. So litanies are the main reason to take the Chaplain. I think most of the auras he provides are really powerful and can be used in a lot of different lists with a lot of different units. Giving units around you improved leadership is a nice aura to have, especially to try and avoid the combat attrition test in 9th edition. As he's not the toughest in combat, and you might want to throw him forward to buff your combat units, it's nice that he has the 4-up invuln. Hopefully it will help him stay alive long enough to get those litanies going. We're still waiting on the Codex for all the rules, but I think I'd definitely want him on a bike if possible. With the litanies being the main reason to take him, being able to zip around the board will really help. Plus he'll be better in combat and shooting too. If you want to keep him on foot, I think at 85 points he's pretty good value. Buffing units with his litany auras should make his points back pretty easy, as long as you have good synergy with other units around you. So next let's have a look at his weaknesses. While you may take out a few models, his all-round low AP means he isn't as powerful as other characters in shooting and combat. Unless you're playing a list with a lot of units close together, you're definitely going to want to transport him in a tank or put him on a bike to make the most of his auras. So not so much of a weakness, but something to bear in mind. So in 9th edition, your litanies go off in your command phase and not at the beginning of the battle round like in 8th edition. So this means you're unable to use litanies on the turn you drop in from reserves. So I'm a bit sad about this one, because I would have loved to come in with a group of assault intercessors and make the use of his Canticle of Hate, which would have given them +2 to the charge. It's still possible to do it, but it will take a bit more planning with him having to be on the board before they come in from reserves. Unlike a lot of other characters, he hasn't got 2+ ballistic skill, so if you are able to upgrade him to a bike and get more shots, he's just going to hit like a regular Marine. This isn't the worst thing in the world, but just a slight weakness there. I really like the Chaplain. It's a great model, and the litanies will really produce some deadly combos. With the option of getting him on a bike, it really improves him even more. Planning to do an in-depth tactics video going over chapters and synergy with different units when the 9th edition Codex comes out, so keep an eye out for that one. And do let me know in the comments what you think of the Primaris Chaplain. Also, what is your favourite litany and how would you use it? Overall, he's a solid choice, so I'll give him a Planet 40k rating of 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button to help us promote it. If you'd like to support the channel and see more 40k content from us, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to press the bell notification to be updated whenever we post a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.